In this video, I am going to demonstrate how to make this shiny wooden ball using Blender 2.83. I would like to highlight a few principles that we are going to use. We will be using texture wrapping and displacement to achieve the result that we are after. In a previous lesson, we added some material and color to our ball, but now instead of the color, we are going to use a wooden texture. If you haven't watched the video, you might want to do that first. The link to that video is in the description of this video. So now let's get onto it. You start by selecting the ball. So once you select the ball, just make sure that you are in object mode. I am also going to give you a handy tip that you can use, the material preview feature of Blender 2.83. So to access that feature, all you need to do is click Z on your keyboard, then select materials preview. The material preview is a viewport mode designed to show you the look and feel of your materials and shaders. It makes use of realistic lighting, and material previews are represented by textured and fully shaded material as close to the final rendered image. Note that it doesn't use your scene settings and lighting, but it just uses some default settings. Let's add a new material to the ball. So with the ball selected, click on material. So remember, previously we created the red ball material. Now let's add a new one. To add a new one, you click that plus button there, then select new. So by default, you have the principled BSDF as the surface. We're not going to change that, we'll leave it at that, but instead of selecting a color, we're going to use an image texture. So what you do is click here where there's a circle there, then you get all these other options. Then you have texture. We're going to use the image texture. So once you add the image texture there, you have this open button here. You click open. You will then get this dialog box and you browse to where you have your textures. So a texture is just an image. You can go on Google, just type wooden texture, then you get lots of different wood pictures. Then just get the picture with the texture that you're after and use that. In this instance, I'm going to use the awkward PNG image. So if I select that, then I'm just going to remove this previous material. Click on it and you see this minus here to remove it. So the minute you do that, you see now we're using the wooden material that we've just added. We can add some displacement, make it look more realistic, because this is too smooth. But if you are happy with this result, you can render it right away. But I'm just going to show you a few tricks that you can use, because sometimes you don't want it to be that smooth. You want to add some displacement textures there. Let's go to the UV editing workspace. So you see all this area here is the workspace area. So we're on the layout at the moment, but now we're going to UV editing. On the UV editing, make sure you're in edit mode. Then on the left hand side, click on this drop down here. You should be able to see the awkward PNG, that texture that we added previously. If you select it, then you can see the wood that we're using to wrap around our model. So what you can also do now is, if you go on to the right and click A, this will show you which area is being used to wrap. So as you can see, this black area here is the one that is being used to wrap. I'm happy with that, so I'm not going to do any changes because I'm happy with the wrapping there. To add some displacement, let us go to the shading workspace. Okay, so now you see some nodes here. So this is a node editor. This is what makes Blender so powerful. So as you can see here, you have the wood PNG that we've added, then you have the principled BSDF node, then you have the material output node. You want to add a displacement node. So how do you do that? So what you do is, on your keyboard, click Shift plus A. Go to the vector section and select displacement. So now drop that down. You now have your displacement node. On this displacement node, you'll see there is a displacement output here and a displacement input into the material. So what we are going to do is, we're just going to grab the output of the displacement into the input of the material. Then from the wood node, there's a color there. We're going to get the color output into the height input. So do you see, once you do that, using the default settings, you see our ball is now a displacement. So that roughness that you see there, that's the displacement that we're after. But we can play around with to reduce the displacement because it is too high. Like if we go back to the layout, I'll show you now. You see, that's the displacement we have, but this is too rough. But in other instances, let's say you wanted to create a rock, this might be a good displacement for a rock, for example, because a rock is not smooth. But for this ball, this is too rough. So let's see how we can make some changes to smoothen it a little bit, but not too smooth. Okay, so let's go back to our shading, to our shader there. Okay, let's play with the level. So you see on here, you've got a scale of 1. If we start reducing this, you see that it's getting smooth. See, then to view it, let's go back to layout. You see there, it's not as rough as before. Okay, then we go to shading again. maybe let's say 0.2. Okay, let's see what 0.2 is at. Okay, maybe I'll leave it as 0.2 because that looks better. I love that roughness. It's rough but not too rough. I love that look. Okay, let's go back to the shading. Now on this principled BSDF, we can also make changes. You see all these properties here, but the one that I'm after is the roughness. So it's 0.5 at the moment. If we reduce that roughness, we increase the shine, it will become more shiny. So let's remove the roughness, maybe let's say 0.3 and see what happens. Go to layout. I need more shine. So I think instead of 0.2, 0.3, I'll just make it 0.2. 0.2. Okay, I'm happy with that. That result. Okay, what we're going to do now is we are ready to render our image. So if you go to render, then render image. Okay, so you see there's our image. Thank you guys for this lesson. You can try this. Can you also share with us your results and also try different settings on your displacements and everything? Please share with your friends and family, like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and let us know if you want us to do any specific tutorial for you guys. We are here for you. Cheers.